of nucleic acids is nucleotide, not nucleoside, not chromatin, substance composed of nitrogenous organic base, pentose, and a phosphoric acid. Yes, that's a base. Purine, pyrimidine, pentose. No, ये तो गलत है. Substance composed of purine, pyrimidine, 5 carbon sugar, and H3PO4. Nitrogenous organic base, pentose, and phosphoric acid. Purine pyrimidine base, pentose and H3PO4, substance composed of purine pyrimidine, 5 carbon sugar and H3PO4, substance composed of purine pyrimidine, 6 carbon, no. Hexose, no. 101. True, false, true, true, false, true, false, true, true. Oh, false, true, false, true, true, true. False, true, false, true, true, true. Okay. The process of DNA replication occurs before mitotic cell division. Yes? In the anaphase, prophase, telophase, synthetic phase, or the interphase. Process of DNA replication occurs in the G1 phase of the interphase. No. Okay. First and last, 1 or 2. True, false, 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 true. True, false, 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 true. In the synthetic phase of interphase, process of DNA replication. Synthetic phase of interphase. Okay, not in the G1 phase, not in the metaphase, in the synthetic phase. Okay. The template which contains information about the primary structure of the polypeptide chain is the template which contains information about the primary structure of the polypeptide chain. mRNA, messenger RNA. True, false, 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 true. 1 of 3. True, false, 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 true. Okay. According to the CAT segment in DNA, the generated mRNA sequence is ATCGTA GUA. Yes. Okay, GUA और यहाँ पे कहीं था CGA or GCA. GCA, this one. True, false, false. 1 of 4. True, false, false. Okay. What types of RNA do we know? Informational messenger RNA, transfer RNA, ribosomal RNA, transcription, translation, nuclear, or hybrid. Informational RNA, transcriptional RNA, translational RNA, transfer RNA. That's it. False, true, true, true. 1 of 5. False, true, true, true. Okay. Structural gene expression is transfer of genetic information coded by order of amino acids in the peptide chain. Transfer of genetic information coded by order of amino acids in the peptide chain. Coded by the order of amino acids? Structural gene expression. Transfer of genetic information coded by DNA into the amino acid sequence in the yes. Transmission of genetic information from DNA to mitochondria. Expression of recessive genetic trait. Transferring genetic information from DNA to the primary structure of the protein. Transcription of the information from DNA and translation into the amino acid sequence of one protein. Transmission of information by reduplication. False, true, false, false, true, false, true. False, false, true, true, true. Process of transcription and translation. The basic types of genes are 107. False, true, true, true. Oh. Basic types of genes are induction gene, structural genes, genes for RNA, regulatory genes, mitogenic genes, genotype genes, phenotypic genes, genes for DNA. What? Genes for RNA, yes. Regulatory genes, yes. Structural genes, yes. The plasmids are 108. Circular RNA molecules stored in the nucleus. Circular RNA molecules, particular type of cytoplasmic protein. Cellular DS, small circular DNA molecules are allowed bacteria that replicate independently from chromosomal DNA. Structures of the cytoskeletal system. Circular DNA molecules in the nucleus. Small circular DNA molecules separated from chromosomal DNA in bacteria. Not in animals. Small circular DNA molecules are in higher plants. No. False, false, true, false, false, true. 108. False, false, true, false, false, true. Okay. 109. The transfer are an anti-coding sequence for the protein synthesis according to the structural gene segment. CAA yoga. AT, C, CAA, AAC, UGU, C, GCG, UCA, UUA. False true. 109. False true. Transfer RNA anti-coding sequence for proteins in the structural gene segment. DNA से transfer RNA anti-coding same होता है. What are the disadvantages of GMOs? The use of GMOs in weight degradation, allergic potential of GMOs, environmental risk, resistance of antibiotics using GMO creation, use of GMO in research, unexpected gene interaction with target organism, endangerment of biodiversity, vaccine production. What? False, true, 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 false, true. False, true, 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 false. True, true, true. Endangerment of biodiversity and vaccine production. Disadvantages of GMOs? True, true, true. Endangerment of biodiversity and vaccine production. The codon is a sequence of nucleotides that carries information determining the inclusion of amino acids in the peptide chain. The codon is a sequence of nucleotides that carries information determining the inclusion of amino acids in the peptide chain. Sequence of nucleotides that carries information determining the inclusion of amino acids. Sequence of the codon is a sequence of nucleotides that carries information determining the inclusion of the amino acids in the protein. No. Triplet of adjacent nucleotides in DNA and RNA. Yes. Triplet in RNA for amino acid. Triplet in transfer RNA. That's anticodon. Triplet of adjacent nucleotides in DNA or messenger RNA. Triplet in ribosomal RNA. No. 3 consecutive nucleotides in DNA and RNA. Major part of the ribosome. An active enzyme center, another name for genetic code. The codon is a triplet of adjacent nucleotides in DNA or RNA, messenger RNA. 3 consecutive nucleotides in DNA or RNA. Major part of ribosome, another name for the genetic code. True, true, false, false, true. True, true, false, false, true. A sequence of nucleotides that carries information determining the inclusion of the amino acids in the peptide chain. That's true. What are the advantages of GMOs? Usability in waste decomposition, improvement of the quality of yield of certain crops, unexpected gene interactions, resistance to antibiotics, allergic potential, endangerment of biodiversity, usability in research, establishment of production of vaccines and other medicines. Enablement of production of vaccines and other. ये तो disadvantages में था. True, true, बाकी सब false, true, false. True, true. Production of vaccines and other medicines. तो vaccine production की disadvantage भी है और advantage भी है. How's that even possible? Genetic information in DNA molecules is stored depending on protein molecules according to the genetic code, according to the structure of ribosome, transcription from RNA to mRNA, sequence of deoxyribonucleotides, ribonucleotide sequence, structure of its molecule, by order of the structure of its molecule, nucleosides नहीं. False, true, false, false, true. 113. False, true, false, false, true, false, true. The structure of its molecule, yes. Complementary strand for this chain in DNA is AT TGA TGA CGA AGA या ACA ACA CGA ACA CAG TCATT. False, 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 true. 114, false, 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 true. Okay. Regulatory genes regulate the activity of other genes. Yes. Regulate the synthesis of polysaccharide. Regulate the transport of water into the cell. Include the sequence of bases in DNA molecules. Encode the sequence of bases. Regulate the same activity of all genes. Regulate the same activity of the genes in all cells. Maintain order in the whole system of genes. Regulate the activity of genes in time and space. 115. True or आखिरी दो? Maintain order in the whole system of genes. Regulate the activity of other genes. Regulate the same activity of the genes in all cells. No. Maintain order in the whole system of genes. Regulate the activity of genes in time and space. Chromatin consists of DNA and lipids. Chromatin consists of no DNA and lipid, deoxyribonucleic acid and proteins. Yes. Proteins and ribonucleic acid, protein carbohydrate, DNA and proteins. Yes. DNA and polysaccharides, RNA and protein, RNA. False, true, false was true. 116, false, true, false was true. According to the principle of complementarity, thymine binds to adenine. 117, true. What are the anticodons in transfer RNA to the messenger RNA? This CGAUAU, G C GCU, GCU AU A GC GCA CGA. False, true. Which of the following nitrogenous bases of DNA molecule are located outside? Opposite. Which of the following nitrogenous bases of the DNA molecule is located opposite to adenine in the complementary strand? Which of the following nitrogenous bases of DNA molecule located opposite to adenine in the complementary strand? DNA. AT. False, 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 true. Genomics is a branch of science studying genetic information. Has evolved thanks to genome sequencing of various organisms, studies the organization of genomes, analyzes DNA sequences in the genome, based on processing, comparing, and searching DNA sequences, has enabled the discovery of the causes of all hereditary, utilized methods of molecular biology such as karyotyping, focuses on the study of genomes. बस ये दोनों false हैं. 120 false. Okay. How many amino acids are coded by this segment? 1 2 3 4 5 6. False, true. 121. False, true. 5. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay. Amino acids can be coded All of them with only one type of codon. No, always with only two codons. Always with several types of codons. The multiple codon types. Only three codons. Multiple types of triplets. All by just one type of triplet. Always by only two triplets. False, false, true, true, false, true. False, 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 true, false, true. Always with several नहीं. कुछ चाहे वो एक ही कोड कर सकता है यार. क्या यार. Synthesis of RNA is catalyzed, is not catalyzed the building blocks of free amino acids. Synthesis of RNA is catalyzed. Building blocks are free amino acids. Energy is supplied by ATP. Synthesis of RNA is chemically similar to DNA synthesis. RNA is synthesized, example, in the nucleus, in the mitochondria, and in the chloroplast. Order of nucleotides is determined by the order of the bases in one of the DNA strands. Yes, 123. True, false, false, true, false, true, true, true. True, false, false, true, false, true, true, true. Okay, 124. Specific triplets of consecutive nucleotides in the DNA macromolecule are called specific triplets of consecutive nucleotides in the DNA macromolecule. Specific triplets of consecutive nucleotides in the DNA macromolecule are called nucleotide codons. The DNA macromolecule are called codons. 124. False, 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 true. False, 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 true, true. Nucleotide triplets and codons. 124. DNA and RNA differ by the type of saccharide, primary structures. Yes. Their primary structure is the same. The way they originate. Yes. Their secondary structure. Primary structure is different. Secondary structure is different. Differ by transcription. RNA की कौन सी ट्रांसक्रिप्शन होती है? होती तो है वैसे, लेकिन नहीं ज़्यादा दिमाग नहीं लगाते. Molecular mass, the matrix, enzyme that catalyze their synthesis. 125. True, 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 false, true, false, true. False, true, false. The matrix? Matrix क्या होती है? Type of their saccharide, primary structure, the way they originate, secondary structure, transcription RNA की कोई नहीं होती, molecular mass, matrix पता नहीं क्या है, enzyme that catalyzes their synthesis. RNA carries genetic information in RNA viruses, DNA viruses, some non-cellular organisms, RNA of bacteria, prokaryotic organisms, and plasmids. RNA carries genetic information. Not in mammals, that's DNA. Fungi, that's DNA. Our DNA virus is DNA. Some non-cellular organisms. What do you mean non-cellular? RNA of bacteria. Yes. Just RNA viruses. RNA of bacteria. No. Prokaryotic organisms. No. Plasmids, that's DNA. False, true, false, false, true. False, true, false, false, true. شكرا الحمد لله. In some non-cellular organisms, those are RNA viruses. Nucleic acids belong to the basic macromolecular substance of living systems. Nucleic acids, basic macromolecular substances of living systems. Basic macromolecular substances of living systems. Yes. Are formed by connecting nucleotides into long chains. Yes. Have genealogic information are involved in its implementation. Yes. Contain 3 types of nitrogenous bases and 1 type of sugar. 4 types of bases. Always contain 5 carbon sugar. Yes. Always contain 6 carbon. No. Carry genetic information, participate in its implementation. Always contain amino acids. No. True, true, true. 127. True, 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 false, true, false, true. 127. True, true, false, false. True, false, true, false. True, true, false, false. Have genealogic information ये होती क्या है? और ये इन्होंने एक लफ्ज़ ईजाद किया जो कि कुछ भी नहीं होता. What blood group can a child have when the mother has a blood group O and father has A? A हो सकता है और O हो सकता है. A with the genotype A, O with the genotype O. Oh, हो सकता है if the father is homozygous. No. A with the genotype AO if the father is homozygous. Homozygous A तो AO हो सकता है. B with the genotype BO. B हो ही नहीं सकता. A with the genotype A is the father is. अगर homozygous AA हो तो AO आ गया. ओके. The father is heterozygous. फिर BAA हो सकता है. O with the genotype O if the father is heterozygous. Yes. A or O if the father is heterozygous. फिर O नहीं हो सकता. If father homozygous है तो फिर O नहीं हो सकता. False was true, false, true, true, true. False was true, false, false, true, true, false, false. A with the genotype AA if the father is heterozygous. तो AO है. AO और OO. A with the genotype A कहाँ से आ गया? माता के पास तो A है ही नहीं. क्या है यार? Which of the following statements is true about genetic mutations? Genomic mutations. Number of chromosomes in the cell changes. Structure of the genes is not changed. The structure of individual chromosomes is changed. Yes. Number of individual chromosomes in sets is changed. Eukaryotic cell has more or fewer chromosomes than 2, and prokaryotic, we observe polyploid or aneuploid, we observe a change in the structure of chromosomes. Genomic mutations. Okay, सारे के सारे included हैं. Number of chromosomes in the cell changes. Structure of genes. Structure of the genes chromosomes is changed. Number of individual chromosomes and sets is changed. Eukaryotic cell are more or fewer than 2, and prokaryotic गलत. We observe polyploid or aneuploidy. We observe a change in the structure of the chromosomes. 129. True, true, false. True, true, false. True, false. True, true, false. True, true, false, true, false. Number of chromosomes in the cell changes. That's true. Structure of genes is not changed. Genomic mutations. Genomic or genetic mutation. क्या genomic mutation? Genomic, okay. The number of chromosomes in the cell changes. The structure is not changed. With genetic mutation होती है. Structure of individual chromosomes change. No, number of individual chromosomes has a change. Eukaryotic cell more fewer. गलत. There's a polyploidy, aneuploidy, change in the structure of the chromosomes. No, structure को कुछ नहीं होता. ज़्यादा ये कम हो जाता है. That's genomic mutation. 130. Gene engineering. Ooh, technologies include. Gene engineering technologies include technologies for preparing recombinant DNA. DNA cleavage and preparation of genetic construct. Gene engineering technologies. Technology for preparing recombinant DNA. That's true. DNA cleavage and preparation of genetic constructs. Yes. Amplification of DNA fragments in bacterial plasmids. Yes, that's true. Preparation of hybrid DNA. That's true. Hybridization of selected individuals. That I'm not sure. Isolation of genes and their insertion into cells of unrelated organisms. Yes. Preparation of hybrid proteins. Yes. Utilization of restriction endonucleases for ligating DNA and plasmid fragments. ये नहीं था. True, false, true. 130. True, false, true. Preparation of hybrid proteins इनका काम नहीं है. What? Hybrid protein कुछ नहीं होता है. Protein होती है. Restriction endonucleases for ligating DNA नहीं होता. Healthy parents have two sons. One of them is affected by daltonism. What are the genotypes of both parents? One son is affected. So एक normal. Only one son is affected. तो बिल्कुल father is not affected. This is true. ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता. Father is not affected. तो दोनों sons affected होने चाहिए थे. नहीं रुको. XD और X. फादर से तो Y आता है ना सिर्फ. मदर से ही डिजीज आ सकता है. फादर लेकिन हेल्दी पेरेंट्स तो फिर X ये गलत है. दिस इज अ डिजीज्ड फादर. दोनों ठीक हैं. आ ही नहीं सकती. मदर गलत. मदर डज नॉट हैव द एलील फॉर. गलत. मदर इज अ कैरियर. फादर डज नॉट हैव द एलील फॉर. यस. मदर डज नॉट हैव द एलील. गलत. या यहाँ से तो वाई आएगा. तो ये खुद डिजीज्ड हुआ. ट्रू फॉल्स 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 ट्रू. 131. True, false, true. Okay. The genotypic ratio of monohybrid hybridization with complete dominance of a heterozygote with a recessive homozygote is phenotypic ratio of monohybrid hybridization with complete dominance of a heterozygote. Genotypic ratio of monohybrid hybridization. With complete dominance of heterozygote with recessive homozygote is Phenotypic ratio of a monohybrid hybridization with complete dominance of heterozygote with recessive homozygote is complete dominance of heterozygote with recessive homozygote. 3:1, 75:25. False was true, false was true, 132. False, 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 true, true. 50-50. Phenotypic ratio of a monohybrid hybridization with complete dominance of heterozygote with a recessive homozygote is Daltonism is a genetic disorder with recessive inheritance linked to X chromosome X to Y, recessive inheritance linked to the genome X, recessive inheritance linked to the chromosome X, recessive inheritance linked to the chromosome Y. No, recessive inheritance linked to heterochromosome, recessive inheritance linked to the somatic chromosomes. False, true, true. False, true, true, false, true. Recessive inheritance linked to the heterochromosome X. That's different. बिल्कुल मैं भी ये सोच रहा था. Galactosemia, autosomal recessive genetic disorder, autosomal dominant genetic disorder, recessive genetic disorder. Dominant trait is on the somatic chromosome. I don't know. 134. True, false, 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 true. True, false, 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 true. Galactosemia, the autosomal recessive genetic disorder. Is an autosomal recessive genetic disorder. Recessive genetic disorder linked to a somatic chromosome. Autosomal recessive somatic genetic disorder. Galactosemia. Okay. The genotype of a recessive homozygous individual for the following traits is. The genotype of a recessive homozygous individual for the following traits. Recessive homozygous individual. Recessive homozygous individual. Recessive homozygous. 135. False, 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 true, false, true, true, true. Presence of Y chromosome in a karyotype means an aneuploidy in mammals. Male sex in humans, female sex in humans, chromosome segregation disorder, male gender in humans, male genotype in humans as well. Polyploidy in mammals, tetraploidy in mammals. False, true, false, false, true, true. The phenotypic ratio of a monohybrid hybridization between two heterozygotes exhibiting complete dominance is heterozygote complete और recessive 50-50. लेकिन अब यहाँ पे 3:1, 75-25, 137. False, true, false, 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 true. Monohybrid hybridization between two heterozygotes exhibiting complete dominance. ये होती है 3:1. बिल्कुल. फिर भी इसको मार्क कर देते हैं. नजर ही नहीं आना. Karyotyping is the study of the composition and structure of chromosomes. Composition and structure does not allow distinguishing between homogametic and heterogametic sex. It is possible even from amniotic fluid, not suitable for diagnosing hereditary diseases, Most commonly performed on blood cells, skin or muscle. Cannot be formed in samples obtained by amniocentesis, is a method enabling the detection of large chromosomal rearrangements and chromosomal aberrations, remnant of chromosomes into so-called karyotype. 138. True, false, true, false, true, false, true, true. True, false, true, false, true, false, true, true. गलत गलत गलत. Intermediate inheritance is a case of incomplete dominancy in which the dominant allele does not manifest in the intermediate inheritance. Heterozygote phenotype. Case of incomplete dominance in which both alleles are equally manifest in the heterozygous. Specific crossbreeding. 139. I have zero idea. False, true, false, false, true. False, true, false, false, true. Intermediate inheritance is a case of incomplete dominance in which both alleles are equally manifest in the heterozygote phenotype. Intermediate inheritance. Not dominant, not recessive, दोनों आ जाएंगे. Also called as incomplete dominance. Oh, ये गलत है. ये गलत है. ये गलत है. One trait. What parents have a blood group AB? What blood group can their children have? Heterozygous A हो सकता है, heterozygous B हो सकता है, homozygous O नहीं हो सकता, homozygous A हो सकता है, homozygous B हो सकता है, codominant AB हो सकता है. Yeah, heterozygous O, codominant A. Heterozygous B क्या होता है? ए ओ हो सकती है. हेट्रोजाइगस ए बी कुछ नहीं होते. होमोजाइगस ओ, होमोजाइगस ए हो सकता है, होमोजाइगस बी, कोडोमिनेंट ए बी, कोडोमिनेंट ए. So that's homozygous A. 140. False, true, 140. Okay. Hemophilia A, hereditary bleeding, occurs more often in women. Y-linked trait occurs in men whose father had this disease, occurs in men whose mother is a carrier. X-linked. Whose mother is a carrier, occurs in sons whose mother is a carrier. False, true, false, true. Which organelles play an important role in post-translational modifications of proteins? Endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, Golgi reticulum, endoplasmic apparatus, lysosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, and Golgi apparatus. 142. False, true, false, true. True, false, true. Endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus. False, true. Endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus. के नाम सिर्फ सही लेने थे यार. The set of all genes in one cell is called set of all genes in one cell is called the genome. Bella. False. false, false, true. Genotype in monocytozoa. Genome और उनका वही जीनोटाइप भी हो जाएगा. Nucleus 144 is a permanent organelle of eukaryotic cells. Nucleolus. No. Degrades at the beginning of cell division. Yes. Site of ribosomal RNA synthesis has a membrane envelope. Is not a permanent structure of the nucleus. Site of protein synthesis. Ribosomal RNA synthesis, but also proteins, is a permanent structure of the prokaryotic. Site of messenger RNA synthesis. One chromosome. Site of protein synthesis. True, false, true, true, false, true, true. False, true, true, false, true, true. False, true. Is the site of protein synthesis. कोई protein synthesis यहाँ पे नहीं होती. Ribosomal RNA synthesis होती है बस. Dihybrid genotype of the dominant homozygote for the first trait and the recessive homozygote for the second one is. Dihybrid genotype of the dominant homozygote for the first trait and the recessive homozygote for the dominant homozygote for the first trait and recessive homozygote for the second one. Dominant, recessive for second. Okay, 145, false, false, true, false, true, true. Both parents are heterozygotes for blood group B. The probability that children will have blood group B is heterozygotes. 100%. Oh. 75%, 0.75. 146. False, true, false, false, true. Oh, positive. In the case of incomplete dominance, what can we say about the phenotype of the heterozygote with genotype B? I'm O positive. In the case of incomplete dominance, what can we say about the phenotype of the heterozygote with genotype B? The phenotype is phenotype of the heterozygote with genotype B. The phenotype is identical to capital B, capital B. One 47. False, true, false, 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 true. False, 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 true, true, false, true. True, false, true, true. Different from BB and BB. Incomplete dominance. Different from BB, different from BB. Okay, incomplete dominance. How many biomembranes do mitochondria consist of? 2. Inner membrane. False. True, false, true. Mutagens are agents causing the modification of tissues. Mutation in the cell. Prevent mutation in the cell. Mutation causing genes involved in the formation of induced mutations. Physical nature, example. Chemical nature. Chemical nature radio mutation नहीं होती. Physical nature ionizing radiation. False, true, false, false, true, true, false, true. False, true, false, false, true, true, false, true. Gene mutations cause structural changes in individual genes. No. Cause structural changes in individual chromosomes. Cause changes in the order or number of nucleotides. Change the shape or number of chromosomes. Cause, for example, the loss of one or several nucleotides. For example, the insertion of one or seven. Turn chromosomal aberrations. Cause, for example, replacement of one nucleotide by an abnormal nucleotide. True, false, true, false, true, true, false, true. True, false, true, false, true, true, false, true. $150.